There are a zillion sources out there. How do I know if it is okay to use? How do I judge if it is an academic source?
No worries if you use the Traap method for evaluating your sources. There is certainly a lot of information in the world, contained in many sources. Once we find the sources of information, how do we know what is best for research? This video will help you to evaluate sources to determine if they contain academic information. Research requires academic information. That is different from general or popular information. In order to write a credible paper in school, you will need to prove to your teacher that you know how to find and select the best academic information. This is not a brief or easy job. It requires both time and thought. Be prepared with lots of both. You are not alone in this task. These tips will help you to understand how to decide if the information you found is academic or scholarly. If you follow the considerations here, you will greatly increase the quality of your research. Okay, let's get started. You know that you need academic information for research. Where is the best place to look for academic information? Why, an academic library, of course. Most libraries have library websites that have access to great books, reference materials, and online databases. Save yourself some time and always start there. You know that library databases are the best source for finding credible academic information. But if you want to explore the world of information further, you will need to be careful. You alone are responsible for including only the best academic information in your schoolwork. Now you have access to much more information than you can use, so it is time to decide if the information is credible and relevant to your research needs. To do that, we can use the Traap method. This framework helps you to understand what questions you should be able to answer about your source in order to decide if that source is right for you. Traap stands for timeliness, relevance, authority, accuracy, and purpose. All of these are important and should be considered. Some are more obvious than others, but you should be able to answer questions about each topic. Let's review how each criteria should be contemplated. This is probably the easiest question to understand. Is the information recent? The article should not be more than 10 years old in most cases. In some cases, such as science, 5 years might be too old. The world is always learning new information, so make sure that you use the most recent information you can. Relevance. No matter how reputable your source is, it does not add to the academic quality of your work if it is not relevant to your research topic. You would not want to add any information that does not serve as evidence to prove one of your points or to answer one of your research questions. Remember your audience and include information accordingly. Authority speaks to the qualifications of the author or publisher. If you are presenting the information as academic, it must come from an academic author. You should check to see if the author is a reputable academic associated with a reliable publisher. For example, is the author cited as an expert by others? Accuracy is also important. You would not want to present false information to your reader, so check to make sure the information is accurate by confirming it in at least one other source. Check the accuracy of the source too by checking its own sources. Purpose is the reason for which a source was written. If the source was written to provide general or popular information, it might not be academic. If the source was written to persuade you to the author's point of view, it clearly has a bias. You should understand this bias before you use it in a paper. If the source was written to represent a particular organization, you should acknowledge that. A general reference article for a database is the closest you can come to an article without bias. That is a lot of analysis for every source that you choose. This is one reason why research is such a great critical thinking activity. There is a worksheet on the library webpage to help you answer these questions. Let me offer you some advice. Teachers are not impressed by pages and pages of a work cited. Choose the fewest and best quality sources that you need to effectively prove your point. That way you can save some time and effort and take your time crafting your research. Remember, this process is a great learning activity. It might be a struggle at first. Your efforts will pay off. As always, if you need help, please feel free to visit us in the Learning Commons. Good luck.